This is an unimaginable loss for any parent. It's a very difficult loss for our community.
We will be determining the person or persons responsible for this reprehensible act, and we will bring them to justice.
Police now searching for the killer of 8-year-old Sandra Cantu after finding her body stuffed into a piece of luggage and discarded like trash in an irrigation ditch. Absolutely sick, obscene, and disgusting. And we will not here on Issues treat this as just another news story. This kind of horror must stop. We must, as a society, say this is totally unacceptable. I'm back taking your calls on this latest tragic case, and they are lit up. But before I go there, I want to go to my old friend Curtis Sliwa, founder of the Guardian Angels. You know, 30 years ago when I was a Cub reporter and you were a young guy in a cap running around on the streets of the city and riding the subways fighting crime, I did an interview with you and we talked about violent crime. And here we are 3 decades later still talking about violent crime. Something is sick with our society, Curtis, that we have to deal with. I think the only thing that has to change when it comes to this kind of violence is everything.
Well, you know something, Jane, 30 years has made a difference. We had Guardian Angels from Modesto and Sacramento help the thousands of citizens who came out looking for clues to try to track down where Sandra was. In fact, unfortunately, as you could see, found in that suitcase in an irrigation ditch. And the horror of finding out as you go to the registry of pedophiles and sexual assaulters and molesters who live in proximity of that trailer camp. Jane, there are dozens of them. Dozens of
like
marauders
80 or something.
Embedded within an area that we consider to be like Leave It to Beaver, Father Knows Best, Little House on the Prairie. All of these men potentially capable of striking out at young children again. It's just horrific. Once a tragedy like this occurs, you become aware of your surroundings and you go, we got to protect the kids. If we can't protect the kids, who can we protect?
And Dr. Evans, as a clinical psychologist, you must know how terrified the people in this mobile home park are, because right now they have said they think there's a killer on the loose and they don't know who amongst them might be responsible.
That's true, and that kind of fear kind of enlists everyone to come forward and say, we've got to do something about it. The bottom line is they don't know who it is. They don't know if it's somebody they know, if it's somebody who's been watching, if it's somebody who lives within the community, and therefore we have to take measures. The people feel that they have to take measures to be cautious and safe and reduce that level of fear that they must be feeling.
All right, Stephen, Missouri, thanks for your patience. Your question or thought, sir?
Thank you, Jan, and love the show, and I'm with you. I had a chance to meet Curtis and his wife in St. Louis one time, and it's a great group, and they don't get enough credit.
True.
My question is for Don Clark. If you would kind of turn this into the Casey Anthony case, if they found the bag and the skull would have never rolled out, they would have opened the bag to see what it was if somebody reported it. Obviously, they have a lot of evidence because they never opened that suitcase. They took it straight to the morgue. And they put all the police tape up. So obviously they knew what was in that bag. They wouldn't just take the luggage to the morgue not knowing what was in there, would they?
Well, Stephen, let me direct that question, excellent question, to Dr. Bill Mannion. We have a forensic pathologist here, and we're very happy to have him. Dr. Mannion?
Now, that's an excellent question. I thought about that myself. And I think because of all the publicity here, when something showed up unexpectedly, they were immediately thinking, well, this little girl's missing. Maybe this little girl could be in this bag. I don't think there was any evidence ahead of time that said that the child was stuffed in a bag or something like that. I haven't heard anything like that. But just because of all the publicity, I'm very grateful that no one opened the bag there. Things could have spilled out. They would have lost evidence. Instead, they intelligently took the bag to the morgue, where they can photograph things, document things, even look for latent fingerprints on the bag itself before they even open the bag. So that was a tremendous bit of police work.
Smart move by the police. This weekend, cops released the last known video of Sandra Cantu. The surveillance video, as we've been mentioning, shows the 8-year-old child joyfully skipping through her community wearing a pink Hello Kitty shirt with black leggings. Authorities have said they identified Sandra's body in part by the clothing she was wearing, including the Hello Kitty t-shirt. So, of course, Don Clark, everyone is totally afraid and hoping that this child wasn't subjected to some horrible ordeal even before she died. What does the fact that she was wearing clothing tell you as an investigator?
Well, you know, the fact that she was wearing clothing does not mean that she didn't go through some horrible ordeal that was going on. Oftentimes, unfortunately, that these people will try and make things the way they were before whatever incident took place did. And people who are this sinister will do these types of things. I think the clinical psychologist will bear me out at that. We never can really depict what they're doing. So you know, we just can't help. We can only hope that she didn't go through it, but we just don't know.
Linda, Texas, question or thought, ma'am?
Yes, hi, Dan. I have two short questions. First of all, was there a national Amber Alert? Did that happen whenever Sandra first became missing? And also, has any of the family members, have they taken any kind of polygraph test or anything?
All right, let's go back to Eric on that.
Okay, there was no Amber Alert, and the explanation that's given is that in California, apparently, they only will issue an Amber Alert if they have a description of a car or a license plate.
And I understand that the dad said that he did take a polygraph, but we don't have any independent confirmation of that.
Right. The police aren't saying whether he did or not.
All right, I want to thank my excellent panel. We will have more on this heart-wrenching story in just a bit, and I will have an update on the